The year is 1996 and something very important is about to happen in video gaming industry. Something that will set the course for others to follow and will create the biggest gaming icon for years to come. As you already know from the title, I'm talking about the first Tomb Raider. I think that I don't have to tell you how iconic and groundbreaking this game was and still is. It is one of those titles which impact reached far beyond video games. The mastermind behind this was Toby Gard, who worked as a lead artist on the first Tomb Raider project. The inspiration for this character mainly came from the likes of Indiana Jones, but also comic book Tank Girl and from a Hong Kong action movie called Hard Boiled. Tomb Raider was released in 1996 for PS1, Sega Saturn and MS-DOS. It was developed by Core Design and published by Eidos Interactive. An expansion pack called Unfinished Business for PC was released a year later. Now let's have a closer look at this masterpiece, shall we? Okay, so what is absolutely legendary about this game for me is the music in the menu. That theme is so relaxing and iconic at the same time that I could listen to it for hours and never get tired of it. I even have it as my alarm clock, so that speaks for itself. Before you start to explore the 15 levels the game offers you, you can have a little bit of practice at Lara's home. Here you can try those famous or infamous, depends on which side you are, tank controls. I have to say from my personal experience that I wouldn't change them for anything in the world, because I also have tried the modern controls on Tomb Raider Remastered, but I couldn't get used to it. After that, you can jump right into the adventure. It starts off with the CGI cutscene, which I remember absolutely blew my mind at that time. I must say that it still looks pretty good, especially the part where Lara drops down from the top of the cave and starts shooting wolves. That's a badass moment already, and the game hasn't even started yet. However, the in-game graphics were never super appealing to me. Sure, Lara looks good, despite that chest error, but the environment always looked kind of blocky and grainy during close-up views. But as a whole, the levels look very believable and atmospheric, so the previously mentioned negative aspect never bothered me that much. First level is ideal to get to know the game surroundings, how are the enemies, what it takes to kill them, where and how to reach the items you need, and all the other stuff. There are 4 different world zones in the game: Peru, Greece, Egypt, and the lost continent of Atlantis. After a couple of levels you might get shocked to meet with dinosaurs, and at this moment you will probably realize that the game uses its own magic that blends into reality. I found a similarity with the first Metal Gear Solid game here, which is also set in the real world, but there are elements of magic and supernatural powers. To be honest, I also consider her ability to move huge cubical stones a freaking magic. Story is set around a mysterious artifact called Scion, which is Lara supposed to find in Peru. This task was ordered by businesswoman Jacqueline Natla, who is also the main antagonist of the game. Of course, it wouldn't be as easy as Lara might have thought. Lara's journey is filled with various traps and situations she must survive to get to the end. On the way you have to look for keys, switches, medipacks, ammunition, and movable cubic boulders. Sometimes these switches and keys are very well hidden, but I always found them eventually. What I love about this game is the jumping. Lara can jump forward, backward, to the right, to the left, and also vertically. My favorite is the backward jump while shooting at the enemy. It was my most favorite defensive mechanism in the game while facing the enemies. Speaking of enemies, you will meet a lot of them here. They are usually animals like gorillas, lions, crocodiles, bats, wolves, rats, bears, velociraptors, T-Rex, supernatural creatures, and some human enemies as well. Most annoying of all of them is the guy named Pierre, who appears out of nowhere in the 5th level of the game St. Francis Folly and starts shooting at you. This will happen multiple times in the game as you progress. You cannot kill him instantly, you just have to shoot at him and then lose his tail if he doesn't run away first. It is good that the game keeps you on your toes like this, but it can be also frustrating when you try to do something and he starts shooting at you, causing you to stop doing everything else and focus solely on him. You also have to be really careful not to get too close to him because his bullets deplete your life bar pretty quickly. What absolutely amazed me was the last levels of the game, which felt like something from the imagination of Swiss artist H.R. Giger, famous for his biomechanical art style which heavily contributed to Alien movie series. In this part, you meet your doppelganger who does everything that you do. So if you try to shoot it, you will end up killing yourself. It is mirroring Oriole movements, so you have to trick it into its death. This was a magnificent idea for its time and I have never seen anything like it since. Another thing I have to mention is the swimming. Normally I hate swimming in the video games, I really have no idea why. But here it is done very smoothly, at least for me. It feels so natural, I never had problems to swim somewhere out of reach, or even when I was in danger of drowning, I could manage to emerge out of the water in time. Voice acting and sounds of the game are very well done here. From Lara's elegant British voice to lions roaring in the Colosseum. The best part is when you reach a certain location in the game, it lets you know that you have discovered something special by listening to the excellent theme those places have. It feels like you are in a movie and something exciting is about to happen. When you are about to encounter an enemy or a dangerous situation, the music intensifies, which adds to the tension of the moment. And I already mentioned the beautiful menu theme in the beginning. The game can take you about 15 hours to complete, but that depends on your previous experience, of course if you have any. Thankfully, the unfinished business DLC is now available on every console, included in the remastered collection, so it is not limited to PC only like in the past. Overall, I will give Tomb Raider a 10 out of 10. It is still a joy to play even after all these years. For me, a good game always keeps me excited for another level or another area which I still haven't discovered, and this game does that perfectly. It was a joyride from start to finish. The cover art of the game is simple yet beautiful. Everything you need to know about the game is there. Although it is not my most favorite one among all of the Tomb Raider games, it is still a beauty. On my PS1 tier list, I will put this game on the top spot ahead of the first Silent Hill. Fortunately, Tomb Raider is one of those classics that are very easy to get in almost every retro gaming shop. On eBay it can be very cheap from around $10, but also a bit more expensive if you are looking for the big box version. Not many PS1 games had this big box cover, so it is definitely worth to have a look. I hope you enjoyed the video. If yes, you can give a like, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to receive retro gaming reviews every week. Also don't forget to check my Instagram or Facebook account where I post something related to gaming. That is all from me for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.